I call the June 12th Town Board meeting to order. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 8th, 2024 minutes.
I'll second it.
Treasurer's report.
All right, Pam, if you want to pull it up on the screen here. Oh,
All in
sorry.
favor?
Aye.
That was on the meeting minutes. I jumped in. All right, so Pam's got it up on the screen here in the room, and if you're in your packet, you're about midway through if you want to look on paper. But walking through the May 2024 financial statement, we had a beginning balance in our checking of $111,855, less our expenses of $13,454, with added revenues of $4,193, leaving us with an ending balance in our checking of $102,593. And then in addition to that, we had UBS assets of $467,076, giving the township total assets of $569,669. And then moving down to the middle of the page, our expenses for May 2024 were about $10,000 less than May 2023. And the main reasons here were less snow plowing and ice, as we all know. It was quite a bad winter in 2023, and we had bills residual into May of 2023 for that. And then our revenues, pretty stable year over year, but our revenue was about $1,500 lower than last May, and this was just due to fewer permit payments from residents. And then at the very bottom of the page, I'll take it just all the way to the very bottom. Our year-to-date surplus is $4,839. Compared to this time last year, we had a slight deficit of $4,109. Any questions for me?
No, but thank you.
Thank you.
I asked you once before, I forgot, when's our tax money come from the county?
It's due to the, all residents have to pay it in by May, so we usually see it in late June, early July, I would say.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay bills 88 through 103 for $20,645.98.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions?
I have a couple. Our attorney isn't here, is he? Was he gonna come?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's the only question I had.
All right, and then we're gonna skip to SEH. John, you wanna come up?
Sure.
Good evening, town board members, and yes, sir? Is this close enough? We're good? All right, thank you. And those in attendance here, anybody watching? So I'm going to cover a couple of things with you this evening, and there is this memo that you have hard copy of in front of you. Sorry for those in the audience here, it did not get into the packets that are available in the back here today, so you'll have to look up on the screen. It is just a one-page memo. The things I'm going to cover today.
Are you picking him up on that? I don't know if it's turned on.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it's not sounding like it's coming out here at all.
I can hear it on
Oh, you can?
I can.
Okay, well, that's all that matters.
If you have troubles hearing me, let me know.
No,
My
it's
voice
just-
usually carries in a room
just
pretty good. So
It's on TV. That's
yeah, right. Okay. So what I'm going to try and cover here, what I'm going to cover with you tonight is the contents of this memo. But at the end of our discussion, I'm going to ask the board to take formal action or to consider formal action. It's up to you as to whether you'd like to approve, but the action that needs to be taken today is to either approve advertising for solicitation of bids on this project, or not, or some variation. And you'll notice, and not to jump ahead, but at the bottom of the memo here, I do have some language that talks about some suggested options for your consideration. But in the meantime, what I just want to do is skim through this memo quick and probably spend most of my time just talking about the process. So where we're at right now in your street improvement project is, and for those listening, the town is considering a project that would repave the portion of Pioneer Road that is currently paved. So in essence, pulverize the existing pavement and repave it. And then also 99th Street here just east out of Town Hall. And so those are the two things that are included in the project. It's a fairly straightforward project. Now, it doesn't include any drainage improvements, for instance. It doesn't include any massive subgrade corrections or anything. It's just strictly a pavement rehab project. And so that's what's before the town board tonight. And this step in the process is where the design is complete. The bidding documents are in their final draft form. We have some updated estimates for you to look at, which you can see on the front of the memo there. And I'll talk through those here in just a minute. You would potentially authorize us to solicit quotes or bids. This is public bidding because it's over $175,000, so it's public bidding. It'll be advertised in your official newspaper twice, and then bids will open just prior to your July meeting, and then we'll bring those bid results back to you in July. So regardless of, well, I shouldn't say regardless, but if you approve or authorize that here tonight, the next step and really your final decision point as to whether or not you're going to spend money is going to be in July when those bids come back to you. So in other words, if you are nervous at all today, but you want the project to move forward and see what you want for what you get for prices, you can authorize the solicitation today. And then in July, when we have the prices back, you could decide to award all of the project, part of the project, or none of the project. Okay, so that'll be your last chance to decide whether to spend money or not. So with that, I'm going to go back to the table that's on the cover of the memo here. And you'll see what I've tried to do is just really bring down to summaries the potential costs of the project. Now, this is based, we call this an engineer's opinion of probable cost, which means we take unit prices, for instance, asphalt by the ton and gravel by the ton and pulverizing by the square yard. We take unit prices from recently bid projects in other communities around you. We do calculations to estimate, if you will. Our attorneys don't like us to use the word estimate anymore. Provided you with an opinion of probable cost for the construction component, which is the top line of that of numbers there. You'll see that I have a number for Pioneer Road, for 99th Street, and then a total. That top line is construction cost, which is the contractor's cost. The next line down is an estimate. Again, it's not a contract amount. You're not under contract with SEH for this yet, but the $29,000 to $15,000, so on. That is construction administration. So in other words, we prepare contracts. We work with the contractor to make sure that they're constructing the project per the design documents. And at that point, it would be contract documents. And we're your representative out in the field with the contractor and with residents, who may have concerns about access or about how the road is being done for other properties. So we work with them as well. So surveying is included in that. We do some staking for the contractor. So that's what's included in that line. And then the very bottom line, you'll see there's a total for Pioneer Road, a total for 99th Street, and a total for the whole thing if you were to award all, if you were to move ahead with all. Now, I'd like to point out that the following paragraph is an important one to pay attention to. So we really, as I say, we're estimating based on past projects. We have no control over the contractor's costs. So if this happens to hit the streets, if you will, hit the streets at a time where there are contractors, or at least one good contractor who's desperate for work, we might come in a little lower than this. If we happen to time it such that no contractor is desperate for work, we may either come right on our estimate or a little above. A lot of things affect that. The seasonal fluctuation in material prices, as you know, mostly to do with cost of labor and availability of labor, and whether or not contractors are flush with work. Because if they are, they tend to raise their prices, and they figure, well, if we're going to have to work that hard to get this done, then we're going to charge you for it, right? And then there's another component: conditions can counter during construction. So in other words, if the contractor comes out and begins pulverizing the road and runs into some soft condition or some other weird something that's unknown, it can affect, right? Now, I will couch this in telling you that it's always my goal personally to provide you at this point in the project with a price that keeps coming down every time you see it from here on out, right? And I've been doing this for 30 years. My track record is pretty good. That doesn't mean I never miss, but I try to hit a spot that that I can really comfortably say I'm fairly confident that I can get you this project for this amount and not more. And if that's not the case, of course, we'll come back and we'll regroup next month when we see the contractor's prices. As I said earlier, you'll have the option to award just Pioneer Road or just 99th Street or all of them, or not award at all and put the plans on the shelf and maybe take another swing at it next year, bid it in the wintertime when all contractors are hungry. Okay?
On your construction engineering costs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you said you could vary depending on which contractor bid it. If you had one decent one or one you knew that was bad, but this is probably just a best guess estimate.
So right now, that's a good question. Very good question. Very fair question. Right now, you can see, if you are quick at math, that I'm using a 10% of the contractor's estimate.
Okay.
And that is budget level stuff. So when we don't really know, A, how much of the project did you award? B, what contractor is the low bidder? Because we do have some dogs around. I hate to say that, but there are a few contractors around that need a lot of babysitting.
Yeah.
And they usually will do what we ask them to do when we're out there standing with them, but they can't.
You can't leave them on their own.
I don't want to leave them on their own, right? And they're usually good people trying to do good work, but maybe they're not as experienced. And there are other contractors that we can literally just get them set up and go, and we know we can trust them. So that'll change a little bit based on who we've got. But so right now those are budget numbers, so you can see that $494,614.73. That's the number I really wanted to show you here tonight, because if our opinion of probable cost for the construction side is reasonably accurate, and the construction engineering cost estimates, if you will, are reasonably accurate, that's what I think is the top end of your project going forward. The additional costs go forward.
Okay, for the bidding, what we wanted to do was for sure do Pioneer Road. Okay, and then as the alternate, like we talked about before, it'd be Pioneer and 99. If we dropped one, it'd be 99. So just so the bids go out, Pioneer, and if we do Pioneer and 99, well, two different costs.
Understood. Yep.
Okay.
Understood. And there's another option that we can put in here for you too. I might have to look at how we do it exactly, but we could also put an alternate in there for, if you want to entertain it. I'm just going to throw it out for your discussion. You let me know if it appeals to you or not. We're planning on bidding this for fall completion. So we'll give them, say, 4 weeks once they start to complete the work, but not later than, say, Thanksgiving, right, of this year.
Yep.
Okay, but we could also throw an alternate in there for somebody that says, listen, I can give you this price for 2024 completion, but if you give me to June of next year, I did discount it by this much. Well, I might say they would add to do it. Maybe they're anticipating oil prices to go up, but we could formulate a way to request that if you'd like. Or your other option would be to just simply keep it simple.
The costs are ready to go up if we do until 2020.
Not always. No, not always. So if the contractor is completely booked out and there's just no way. In fact, I have a great example of a much larger project in River Falls right now where I got that exact request from a contractor where he said, listen, you've got June 30th in here for completion. If you give me to the end of September, I can give you way better prices. They wound up being the low bid, and they were $1 million cheaper than anybody else. So it sometimes plays in your favor and sometimes it doesn't, but it's information you can have. So That's up to you.
What that
No,
deal?
doesn't cost us anything to do it.
Doesn't really cost you anything. So we'll bid it out that way so you can see the prices. And then if you get a real good price that pushes it out till June and you think, well, that's worth it, we can
Yeah.
fill a lot of potholes between now and then for that price. So,
Yeah.
you know, it'll be up to you. It'll be in your hands.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
So a question, are you, is the township paying for the road testing?
Yes, and I believe, have you already received that
We already
bill?
did
Yes, I
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
That's
So-
in our
Being
bills.
paid tonight.
Well, are you talking about the testing that we've done already, the soil testing, soil borings, or are you talking about testing during construction?
During construction?
Yeah, either way, you're paying for that. You'll pay for it. Now, the testing during
It seems
construction is much
confusing.
smaller.
It seems confusing.
Is that under your engineering costs or would that be a separate?
Either way, I've got
Yeah.
10% built in there in what we call contingency. It covers those things. So it's included in this 494, 614, you know, if you want to look at that total, those total numbers in the bottom. But there isn't really actually a ton of testing to be done on what you're doing here, you know, because we're doing pulverizing and then paving. And, you know, the most we ever do really is take a bag sample of the asphalt and send it off to, you know, Braun, AET, whoever, or this ITT, I think is who we used for the soil testing preliminary. So we would contract with them. That's not very expensive to do that.
So with all that soil testing then, we didn't have anything come back like alarming or anything?
Not alarming. I'll tell you, since you asked, what we found is, or what they found is that the gravel, what we're looking for on a project like yours this year is we're looking for thickness of asphalt and thickness of gravel below, because they're going to grind up the asphalt and they grind down into the gravel and they blend them together. Maybe you know this already. And so if there's not enough gravel below, sometimes they can't cool the teeth of the grinder. And so we need to know that. We did find that 99th has got plenty of gravel under the asphalt. I mean, you drive that road, it's really coming apart, right? But it's got good gravel base in every place we took a boring. So good news there. Pioneer was a little bit more of a mixed bag. The asphalt is pretty thick. In some places, 7-8 inches thick, if I'm not mistaken. And what we found, and so there's plenty there for making new gravel base, but when you get all the way around to where you hook and go south again, where that goofy Y intersection is with the island, we run out of gravel. There's not really a lot of gravel there. So in these prices also include adding some gravel to that section.
Okay.
And it would be kind of a contingency. We'll have to meet with the contractor and look at, you know, what do they think once they've seen the soil borings, what do they think they could do with that. But there's not much gravel on that last section. And I estimate it's about 25%, 20 to 25% of Pioneer is like that on the south end.
Okay. And like you say, we're in no hurry to get it done, because we're smart enough to know that if there's no hurry, things can get cheaper, so.
Yeah, and I don't know if I skipped over that too quickly, but, you know, the amount of work that you have here isn't but, you know, well, if a contractor is all ready to tee off on it, they could do it in 2 weeks. Usually what happens is the pulverizer comes in when it's available, and then they leave it on a gravel surface for a while. Sometimes the paver gets back in a couple of weeks, sometimes it's a month. So we'll take a look at what is a reasonable time frame. So 6 weeks is usually what I use. So what I would put in here for a completion is 6 weeks after start, but no later than end of November. Well, the plants usually close around here and before Thanksgiving. So
You could even go 8 weeks if you want it. We don't.
all right, that sounds good then. 8 weeks, that'll give them more flexibility if you don't
It
mind.
could have been open almost all winter last year.
Yeah, could have. Just about.
Yeah, we're about as flexible as you can get. I mean,
Yeah.
once they grind it up, it's smoother than the potholes that are there anyway. And
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, if you don't mind that inconvenience, any flexibility we can give the contractor weighs in your favor in terms of bottom line price.
Right.
So if you don't mind, then I'll just put a November, whatever Thanksgiving is, you know, November Thanksgiving Day as our final completion date. They can schedule their work whenever. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, as long, I mean, it's gonna be done before frost or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
they can only lay it so long, right?
Right. Yep.
Would it make any difference how far we went in the fall? Cause here's what I'm looking at, the temperature of the blacktop when it gets here, we're a ways away from a blacktop plant. Would we be better off moving it to like November 15th or something?
Well, they still have to lay it per spec, and they have to bring
Oh.
it in at a certain temperature. And off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what it is, but
and you're here to
it's
watch
got to
it,
be
you're here to
hot.
watch it.
It's got to be hot when it gets here.
Okay,
So
all right. Don't worry
yeah,
about
so they'll have to tarp the trucks if they're doing it in cool weather. Or,
Okay, all right.
yeah, something like that. So, any other questions before we get on to the actions in my memo?
Nope.
I just had two quick ones. For the SEH engineering cost, that 45,000, is that in addition to anything else we've already approved for you guys?
Yes,
'Cause
it
that was
is.
more design, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the second question was looking more at the itemized, I guess one pager in our packet here. Would there be any savings from doing both? Like, will we get that information from the contractors? So I see like mobilization is in both. Would we have to pay that if we ended up going with
You
both?
have to pay
at the
it
same
both.
time?
So
Okay.
the way the savings, I don't know. See, it's always a dilemma when we're doing this. Maybe we'll do this street,
Yeah.
maybe we won't, kind of thing, because there's always a say, well, if you're doing both, isn't there going to be a savings? Well, that's where that's why we put the mobilization in both, because then if they want to offer a savings, they do it in the mobilization. So
Okay.
you might see 5% of construction in the main project, the base bid. If they want to offer you a savings for doing both, they might put their mobilization in the base bid up to 8% and put it only at 2 in the other one.
Okay.
There's your motivation for
Doing both.
For
Okay.
doing both. Yeah.
Okay.
That's usually how they do that.
Okay. Thank you.
And if we didn't do both at the same time, say we did Pioneer this year, went to do 99th next year, the price of 99th would probably go up about 15-20%.
Some percentage, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to, at this point, guess, but I wouldn't argue with your estimate. I wouldn't argue with your estimate.
Okay, well, I think the next part we kind of already covered.
Yeah, did we have a question on here?
Yeah.
Just an estimate maybe of the lifespan of a road.
Oh, sure.
That's spec'd out. You're looking at something that's gonna last for 30 years, 20 years.
Yeah, you're right in the ballpark. 30 years is what we hope to get out of an asphalt road. It all depends on, it depends on the soil conditions, which you generally have pretty good soil conditions out here. One thing I'd say that kind of weighs against us a little bit is that the bedrock gets a little shallow at places, but, pretty good soil conditions, fairly granular.
We shouldn't have any bedrock on Pioneer.
Well, no, but it's in the bore. It's not, maybe not as, if you look at the borings, it's not that deep. It's like 4 feet in the borings. They've hit to where they couldn't go any further. So it might surprise you. If you didn't get a chance to look at that, look at it. But there is bedrock. But otherwise, I think you're in pretty good shape. If we can get a good gravel base out of this, we're trying to achieve at least 6 inches of gravel, which is the pulverized asphalt and whatever gravel's there. And then, there are going to be 2 lifts, a 2-inch lift and a 1.5-inch lift of asphalt. So that'll get it installed in 2 lifts. And that's a pretty good section for the kind of traffic you have. Now, if we were repaving one of your roads that's getting a lot of, aggregate trucks or something, or I don't know if you get what other kind of commercial vehicles you get, we would beef that up. So we're trying to hit 30 years. This assumes, sorry, just real quick, it assumes you're going to properly maintain the road for the next 30 years. So crack sealing, it assumes, that's the big caveat.
Can you help me understand, you said 6 inches of gravel and how much asphalt? I didn't.
Well, a total of 3.5.
Total, thank you.
Yeah, total of 3.5, yep.
Well,
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, so just real quick, we did cover the options there. You're going to approve the whole thing tonight, just one street or the other, or table it for another time. So those are the options I'm presenting. If you've got something else in mind, you certainly can make another
We
motion.
would want both of them alternated out. And,
Well, I'll make a motion, we go with option number 1.
Yeah. So I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, awesome. I
You
do.
could add that second out to June or whatever if you wanted something for next year.
Sure.
Or something if you
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a follow-up question for you on the project. If you can give me a minute. So one of the town board members did email saying, "Hey, listen, we don't want gravel shoulders in places where we're currently mowing up to the edge of the road.
That was me.
Okay, well, I didn't want to call you out because I'm on the mic, but since you've done, so I just want to make sure that we communicate clearly on this. My recommendation is to not do that. And the reason is this, and you can consider it because it is your road. So at the end of the day, you get to direct me how you want. But as an engineer, as a road builder, the shoulder, the gravel shoulder is every bit as important to the structure of your pavement as is the gravel under the asphalt. Topsoil does not support the edge of your asphalt. And so where you use topsoil instead of gravel to support the edge of your road, you are more likely to get the edges breaking off. And so we have done this. I think I told you when I was here back in the winter, we serve a lot of, if you will, rural communities who bring the same thing up over the years. And they've been directed to do topsoil up to the edge of the pavement. When we're directed to do so, we do it. It's a mess. The first time that somebody decides they've got to pull off for any reason, they're driving around a carcass, they're driving around a neighbor who's coming the other way, or a tractor or a truck, they're going to be on that topsoil and it's going to rut up and make a mess.
No,
And so I just want to present you with that and let you think about it. And again, you don't have to tell me today.
That wasn't my intention.
Okay.
My intention was, say here's the road.
Yep.
You get to the edge and you go off the edge of the road a ways and the ditch rolls down like this. And the people can mow up to there.
Yeah.
Instead of getting done and all of a sudden you go over it.
Oh,
Like
you were
this.
more concerned about the slope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Just so people can mow along there when they're done.
Mow the slope.
Not
Gotcha.
putting topsoil.
Okay.
Not putting topsoil up to the blacktop.
Misunderstood you. Okay, I think we can do that. So
Yeah.
that will do.
Just round it off when you get past the. Shoulder.
Okay, you've seen probably like I have then where they roll that gravel out and then all of a sudden off the edge of the gravel it just
Yeah, and the people, now all of a sudden the people can't mow along there because you go.
Okay, so that's really helpful. Thank you for that
Yeah,
clarification. Yeah. So we'll be doing a 2-foot wide gravel shoulder everywhere we can fit it because that protects the edge of your road,
Yeah.
and then we'll make sure that those people who can mow.
There's
now
only a
are
few
going.
of them that do it right now.
Yeah.
Most of it's non-maintained.
Gotcha,
Or
yeah.
it's flat enough it ain't gonna be a problem.
Yes, sir.
It's very.
Yes, sir. Okay. No, sounds good. All right. Well, for now, I have my direction from you, and we will get that advertised in your paper. I'll talk to Pam and make sure I know for sure your paper is it Pioneer Press or is it something else?
Yep.
Okay. And do you have a day that you typically put? So we
No,
usually do Fridays.
Just don't do Sundays, because
Yeah, we usually do Fridays, but we don't have to do Fridays.
need it.
Okay, and then it'll also get posted on a service called Quest CDN. If you're familiar with the business, that's where all the contractors now go. These you have to advertise in your paper because it's a state law to do so, but they don't look in the paper. Okay, they just don't look at the paper. They look at this Quest CDN and other services like it, but this is the one that is most commonly used in the Twin Cities, and so we'll use that one. And then your bid opening will be done virtually, so that we can all do it from our computers. It takes about 10 minutes. And if you're interested in viewing the bid opening, Pam will have a link at some point, so anybody who's interested can watch it, but you don't have to. So
Does that 4 weeks work good for you for getting back?
yeah, so we usually try and hit so anywhere I think you're required to advertise for 2 weeks.
Oh,
You're not
okay.
special assessing this project, so you're not required to do 3. That's what be special assessments. But we try and do 3 anyway. So in this case, we might come up a little short of 3 just because of the timing of your next meeting.
Okay.
Because I think if I can get an ad in on this Friday, then we've got the next Friday, we'll run the second ad and open bids 2 weeks after that. So it gets us pretty darn close to a cutoff for getting information into your
Okay.
packets.
The only reason I was
So-
asking is if we should move it up so people got more time to do the work, but the 10th,
Well,
because our meeting's the 10th, the second week in July, our next.
yeah, okay, is it the 10th? I had the 9th for some reason, but
No, it's
but
10.
it's the 10th?
Yeah, July
Okay.
10th, yeah.
I'll make note of that before I leave, but, and is that a
Okay.
Wednesday again? The 10th?
Yeah.
I was just looking at my
Yeah.
calendar wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
7 o'clock.
Just like tonight.
Okay.
You'll be here then? that
It'll
day?
either be me or it'll be Zach. Zach would be here tonight, but he's just getting off a plane. Big trip to England, so he says, "Oh, I don't know. My flight comes in at 5. I don't know if I can make it." I said, "Zach, don't." It'll break your neck. So you got stuck with me tonight. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you all. You don't need me to hang around for the rest of the
No.
meeting then?
No.
All right, have a good meeting. Thank
One
you.
quick question, what was the other one you published to or whatever, Quest?
Quest, Quest.
Okay, so it's just Quest.
CDN in capitals.
Okay, that's all.
CDN, yep.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, you bet, thank you.
Planning commission report. You want me to take it or you got it?
Yeah, why don't you, because I
Okay, yep.
make the meeting, so
Yeah.
I'm not in a position of reporting what happened, and I didn't get minute notes from it, so.
Long story short, basically the planning commission had some IUP applications come in and we had some discussion around it. And we were, a couple of that, had some discussion around it. And we're thinking we'd wanna put, some questionnaires and some different things to extend it a little bit, so we just pushed it off. Jake was gonna work towards creating a couple of questions like what you had put together, and next month we'll revisit again on it. So we figured, it's been a few years, no hurry on it, let's get it right. So that was that. Anything else you want to add to that, Paul?
There was a lot of confusion about how to do an IUP. Well, Pam has it all written up. So I'm not sure why they were so confused.
There wasn't. No, we just thought we'd add some stuff to it. So like the IUP process, they fill out application with what's on it, and we were thinking we'd want to add stuff to have stipulations attached to each general thing. So just adding a second page to them, but yeah, work in progress. All right, next planning commission is Monday, July 8th at 6:30 p.m. Next town board meeting is Wednesday, July 10th at 7 p.m. Any other, should be it for meetings.
That's it.
SEH is done. The culvert on Pioneer Road, we really no updates at this time. We're gonna kind of see how it comes along, but we're thinking, do you
Yeah,
want
we're gonna wait till after the other work gets done and see
Yeah.
what we got left.
What were you guys gonna, like, what was that for that culvert, to remove it, to?
No, it'd be to, maybe the downstream side to try and add some gravel or something to just help hold the shoulder or see what it is. We're gonna try and keep an eye on some rain, see how much water goes through, and then
Yeah,
Just
we don't
figure
want
out.
it to,
Like,
'cause
riprap on that side or something, or whatever?
there's all this pipe going down to the river.
Yep.
And
I drive
it's-
by it, so, and I see it in some of these like heavier rainfalls, we just had, like, water does go through that culvert, kick underneath that road, from like Perna's side over there.
yeah.
Did you actually see that?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
much, because we're wondering, me and Dan, how much goes through there?
It's more, we had like the heavy downpours that we've been
Yeah.
getting, that real quick
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah,
There's a good amount, because all like Perna's kind of like funnels to that side, stays in the ditch, and then instead of like going over the road's kind of pitched that way.
yeah.
We'll go in that and then wash out that other side, so I think just over the years, it's still been like eroding and getting a little deeper than what it's been. Right now, it's like a, crazy trench that's in there, I don't see how it got that big, but.
Well, that's what we were running. How did it, it looked like the Mississippi River flowed through there at one time.
Maybe just like over time, every little bit, over the years, it's fine,
The only thing I could think, years ago, we had a 9-inch rainstorm down here in about 84, 85. And maybe that's when that huge thing got washed out. But anyway, we're gonna wait and see what happens. Maybe put a load of riprap on that downstream side of it.
Well, that culvert will stay in place on
Yeah.
the road, so.
Yeah, Dan looked at me and he said the culvert's okay.
That's a new piece of pipe. Yeah, that's all that. Yeah, it's hard. I don't really see the saw cuts, but yeah, it's all that black HDP or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you think you'll keep the pipe and then cover it, or
No,
no,
no.
just take it out? Get it-
the pipe will probably stay underneath the road.
Oh, yeah,
As
no, yeah,
construction-
the culvert itself for sure, it's all,
Yeah. Yeah, on the downstream side, it just has that quick steep drop. So maybe it's add some riprap to that edge to kind of carry it, and then have it just slow the spread down.
Did
And
the
then
owner say anything about removing that thing, or?
they said they were gonna either try and scrap it or sell it. He said they were working on it, but
We didn't actually talk to him. What's his name?
we talked to him.
Lee Mullen said he talked to him when he wanted to get rid of it. So I think if somebody was doing scrap steel stuff, they probably go talk to him, he'd probably give it to him.
They said Mullen had said they were gonna try and put it online and sell it because it was in good shape. As bad as it is down there, I'd just get rid of it as me. But figure we could maybe give it a few months and then maybe mention a scrapper to him or something, because I'm sure somebody would dig it out. Any other things on that?
I don't think we need one there.
Under the road?
Yeah.
Just fill in the ditch?
Well, if they make it level, the turn level, it shouldn't need a culvert there.
Well, the water
Perna's
comes,
side is lower than the road.
What?
Perna's like ditch on that side is lower than the road.
Way lower than the road.
So like all that water that comes down his front yard, and even that road's like pitched that way just because of that bend that's in it. There's still a bunch of water that stays on his property that flows through that culvert.
Yeah, as we get in,
Yeah.
I mean, we have our full plans, or whatever, but the road's not gonna tip like that anymore. It's gonna be crowned in the middle with the right taper and all that stuff.
Right, but then you're gonna flood out his property because you're not gonna make the road lower than his property.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you probably still want a culvert there.
Right, correct, yep,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Well, it should be,
That's what, yeah, all that water runs up and then goes past his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I don't think we have an intention to
No.
pull that culvert out.
no, me and him went over, looked at it, we were over there a couple times. And figured to leave the culvert, well, we had a question at first, we thought, well, can we tear it out or not? And then talking to people, water does go through it. And then there was a question, do we replace it, or we thought, well, should we put riprap in there now before they do the road? And the guy that was here said, he told us we didn't have to do anything with it, but me and Dan thought, well, let's wait and see what we have when they're done blacktopping, and maybe we'll have to put riprap on both sides. Because our intentions was leave the culvert, but maybe slow down the flow, especially in the discharge side. You can spread it out, slow it down, put a bunch of rocks there. So,
And that was kind of just based on when we did the site visit with SEH, that was
Yeah.
kind of just their recommendation for it.
Why not have the pavers do it,
Do what?
bring in the riprap?
Well, we may at that time, we'll kind of see, because they're gonna, with the new plans, once everything gets staked out with the roads, then we can go out and look at it and actually see where everything lays instead of just going, yeah, let's throw 2 loads right randomly and have it get moved again.
And then-
So I think it's something to keep an eye on as the project gets going.
and the engineer told us that basically the paving contractors, they just wanna do the paving. If they're gonna do anything with a culvert or anything like that, they're gonna subcontract that out to somebody else.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you put it in after the road's in, that's only, what, she said, 3.5 inches, and you take a riprap truck down there and dump off the side?
No, it'd be done before blacktop went down, yeah.
Okay.
We will keep an eye on it as the project goes. Patching on Great Cloud Island Drive, you wanna take that?
You know, I'm thinking, looking at Pioneer Road and 105th Street grading, gravel, and the patching on Great Cloud Trail. I know people don't want to hear this, but I would like to just put all that on hold until we get prices back on these
Yeah.
other 2 roads.
I agree.
And we could do a road tour again if we wanted to or whatever.
Well, we all know what it's
Yeah,
like. I
right.
mean, Pioneer Road, the dirt part, yeah, that's full of potholes, okay. 105th Street, that's got some potholes in it too, I was now looking at that. Island Drive, Great Cloud Island Drive, especially by Finfinger's house, there's potholes there. So we got them here and there all over, but I'm just looking at budgeting here, how much money we got, how much we don't got.
Let's
I'd sooner just wait and do any of that after we get these prices back on the road.
Yep. Get
To
some
me,
bids
that's
back.
more important than the holes.
Yeah, we'll get bids back and then we can handle that. They usually don't do that stuff till the fall anyway.
Yeah.
Anything other for unfinished business? Hearing none. Okay, speed bumps. You sent some emails, you might as well, I think we all agree with you.
Yeah.
Except, with the new road going in on Pioneer, we've gotten some emails on just cars speeding down it, and some residents are curious of putting speed bumps on it. Dick reached out to some other communities, and you wanna,
Have you guys seen them responses we got back or no?
No. That would be more like speed humps or speed bumps, if there's a difference between those.
Now, yeah, the bump is like this, a hump is like this. Okay. I
They
sent
just
an
go
email
faster.
that, well, let me back up. You know-
Here's the, I have the replies on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can read the replies
This is
there.
from Cottage Grove, just the top part is her, sorry guys, is her response.
I'm just gonna do a little bit online
Go
so
ahead.
people at home can hear us. sent a letter to Jennifer Levitt, she's city administrator in Cottage Grove, asking about speed bumps and humps. And long story short, they don't put them in, they don't like them, they figure there's safety concerns with putting them in for plows and stuff like that. And I sent a thing to Wayne Sandberg, he's a county engineer, he basically came back with pretty much the same thing. I've been looking around, I drive my little school bus around part-time, and I've noticed other cities, Woodbury, that have taken them out. I don't see any cities putting them in. You see them on some private roads, private developments and stuff like that. And what we've been told is if you put them in, there is a liability to them. Somebody comes along and hits them, you better have them plainly marked, day and night, lights on them so nobody misses them. If somebody comes along and hits them and you don't have them plainly marked in that, you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit on them. Granted, the people go fast, I get that, I get with the kids and all that, but everybody's got that problem. I mean, it's everywhere. It ain't just Pioneer Road or.
This is Washington County.
Yeah, I wouldn't care what Cottage Grove has to say, it's not their road.
Well,
They can write whatever they want.
yeah, the principle's the same though.
And for our road, there was an accident that was only a couple months ago with a guy doing 60 miles an hour and hit Mullen Street, flipped his whole car around.
Yeah,
I have it on video, because I have cameras outside my house.
I don't think a speed bump would have wouldn't have made much
It
difference.
would have slowed them down, and people know that they wouldn't be speeding as often as they would be if there was speed bumps on that road.
Well, I don't
So I think
think-
that's something that does need to be addressed and talked to a few more people about. You're gonna have just as much liability if, like, one of my kids get hit by a car, because I'll be coming here and talking to all you guys at the town hall. So it's
The only thing is-
on both sides, it's,
The only thing with that is we didn't create the liability.
you did by not enforcing the putting speed bumps or bumps on the road.
Not-
So I think some.
There's no, first off, there'd be no there's none of these roads have that. If somebody's breaking the law, if you're seeing constant, call the sheriffs, continue to call the sheriffs.
We do. We do all
The,
the time.
the,
And I read the reports, and the sheriff said you have to give any tickets to anyone speeding down that road, because it's all on public information in the Great Code, so. If you guys can come up with a better solution for people speeding, what needs to be done, then we'll listen to that, but other than that, like, something needs to be addressed on that road. So, and then once it gets repaved and it's nice and smooth, people are gonna be going even faster than what they do now on it with potholes. So, I don't know.
I agree with that. It's just,
We
Right.
need speed bumps all around the island then.
I agree, they should
Live
have,
where I live.
they should.
Can't bring us down to it, sorry.
You know, if I would adjust changing the speed limit on that road then to like 25 or whatever it is.
we can have it listed at 10 miles an hour. It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
All you can do is do your best at it, and it's not. I mean, you can call the sheriff religiously. You can
We
do
do.
that stuff.
We do all the time.
That's no different. Yeah.
And this is not, I don't know to what extent that is the solution, but I had a neighbor the other day saying, when are you gonna tell Pam or ask the township to smooth out the gravel side?
That's the next,
Yeah, just give me a second. And I, you know what, I said, I'm not gonna.
Slows him down.
And he looked at me.
instant speed bumps.
And he looked at me, I kid you not, and I drove my wife the last couple of days, she works from home, but she had to go to a conference, she's like, these are really bad. I mean, you're involved, why don't you get them smoothed out? And my thinking is, I'm not gonna, because it's gonna slow down quite a few folks that right on that transition, they're just lining it up. So I know that you would love to wave a wand and make it go away and people abide and so on, but a not smooth road does contribute towards people slowing down. And I know that what I'm about to say is gonna sound crazy, but if I were them, I'd say, don't fix that back road and leave it full of holes in order to make sure that you're not enhancing the chances of somebody doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize that that's not responsible, and I recognize that that's not your role, but we have to do something about the way that people are lighting that up. I mean, next thing, we're probably one day gonna have a disaster, and we just don't wanna do that. So I don't know if we need to bring the sheriff in, I don't know if we need to let them know, hey, we're considering destroying our roads so people don't speed on them. Because I'll take the bumps and the holes over the risk of somebody running somebody over. And they are, I know that we see all kinds of things over here, but we're neighbors, and you hear every couple of days somebody just completely lighting it up, and we're gonna have a disaster one day.
It's on every road too. It's
No,
not just that, it's every road.
I completely get it, and what I'm trying to associate is a road that is not in good condition and how that's affecting people slowing down, and how neighbors are saying, don't fix it because we got natural speed bumps. And after they take their suspension a couple times, they're not gonna go do that hump. They love that change of texture, and they try to do jumps on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they go as fast as they can on the pavement, and they try to actually get off the ground. That's what they try to do.
Without living there and without getting all the calls forwarded to us, I mean, if it's let's just reach out and invite the sheriff to a meeting then, and then we can just go from there with it.
Okay.
And if there's anything provisional we need to do, or whatever we can do, because it's just gonna get worse. And
Let's put the gate back up. That'll solve everything.
that was another.
We could just table this then and dig more potholes in that road.
We want to think about closing this end and have all the traffic have to go back that way. I mean, go as far as the cemetery and block it off, and that's it. And eliminate all the back and forth. It's just,
There's a lot of people that are before that too.
yeah, I would just urge you to consider the fact that we are in a precarious situation back there, to the point of not wanting to fix the road. And I would advise you, don't fix it or don't smooth it out, because of the cure is worse than the disease.
You talking the blacktop part too, or just the dirt?
I would talk both, because it slows it down. I know,
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like crazy,
Yeah.
I completely get it.
No, I get what you're talking
But
about.
I know right now
Yeah.
people are doing this on it, I'd say
Yeah.
dig up a few more holes and just leave it all up. I know the
Instead
pattern
of
to get out of there, I kid you not. That's what
And that's more of the issue, is the fact that you guys are gonna put a new road in, and fund for a new road, and that's when the speed's gonna increase, And they're already going fast now, and the potholes do make a big difference to it, so what's gonna happen when that road's smooth as could be,
Just like any other road you fix, they go faster on them.
Right.
But then, in the next breath, you got neighbors over there telling us, when are you gonna fix our damn road? There's more patch on it than there is road.
But I can get everyone on that road, I guarantee the sign that it's okay for the speed bump, and nobody would even bother about it. 'Cause I already talked to many neighbors about it, and they actually have people who would pitch in for the cost of them, if it is an.
And they do make, we looked at, they do make removable ones, or ones that you can take off in the winter months and stuff like that. But
Right.
I mean, if speeding's that bad though, then we should have the sheriff out here and have him hear from people and figure out that. But
The question, you just brought up a good point. What do you do in the winter? Do we end up having to pay for maintenance on the plow truck?
yeah,
Because
maybe
he's
that
hitting the
plows,
speed
but-
bump, or
Yeah,
what happens with that with the
They
winter?
can still plow over speed bumps, and they're clearly marked, so.
Well, the removable ones.
then someone's paying to do it. But let's start with. I mean,
I'll-
road construction's
I'll
moving
say
on. That's
about
a
it
small thing in the road construction that's not going to happen for a while. Let's get the sheriff out here and get see what they have to say.
The sad part is, what you're saying is everywhere. It's not just Pioneer Road. I sit at my house and they go on Great Cloud Trail. I've seen them going 60, 70 miles an hour over there.
Right.
I mean, I've come down out of 3rd Street in St. Paul Park going 40, and our own residents pass me going 50. So it ain't just,
Wait till you get
It's
another
our own natives
377
causing
houses
something.
up there.
That's, the
the
concern is
Yep.
all the traffic that it's gonna bring with, another 400.
And then you talk about, this is a no-win situation for us guys. We got people on one side saying do this, people on the other side talking how you are. We asked, you can say, well, Cottage Grove's a different animal. But the city administrator runs the city and knows the liabilities, and she's an engineer on top of that. I'm gonna take her advice, whether or not we should put these in. When I asked the head engineer at the county the same question, I'm gonna take his advice.
They also
Because
have-
there is there's a liability on both. There's a liability to people going fast, you know, and there's a guaranteed liability put in the speed bumps. And then you talk about putting in a gate. Well, not everybody loves a gate. You know, well, other people have brought that up too. People have said, well, go down this have, close the road off. Well, not everybody wants to drive all the way around to leave there every time. If you've got kids on a school bus back in there, you're gonna be walking a long way to get on that bus because the bus has got nowhere to come in and turn around. Our plow that goes in there, there's nowhere to turn around. Garbage trucks go in there, there's nowhere to turn around.
The plow does not go on gravel anymore. I didn't plow it once last year. They all turn right in my driveway. So that's the turnaround with my driveway.
The plow goes, well, it might not, well, it depends if there's sand in or something, but they plowed the dirt part. I mean,
They don't.
the snow plow.
No, they didn't.
They don't.
Well,
They got last year, but they do.
we didn't get enough snow to do it, is that what the deal was?
We got plenty of snow, so they didn't go in there.
Well, I can't believe that road went all winter without getting plowed.
It worked out well that way too.
There you
Because
go.
less traffic
That's what
on
I'm
it.
saying.
Okay.
Being not plowed, I'd say don't plow it.
Well, we will get the sheriffs, Pam will get a hold of the sheriffs and we'll start with that. You were at the breakfast meeting, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, me and Paul and Pam, Paul, and myself, Holcim had a breakfast meeting down at,
The golf
golf
course.
course in Cottage Grove. Yeah, it was just basically to tell us about their operation and basically they want to expand and the need for gravel and aggregate in the Twin City area. That was about it, right? Pam, you want to add anything?
No, it was a PowerPoint presentation, showed reclamation that they did in Egan, and it was beautiful, but it was all agricultural. And then they showed reclamation there and here, but, and spoke about it, but not much. And I guess we came away with, that's great for Egan, but we got holes. We don't have something that you can fill in and have a farmer use it again or put houses on. That was all that came up.
Yeah.
We thought about. But it was a good presentation.
Perfect,
And
thanks.
then the next thing, a wholesome letter to our attorney. Their attorney wrote our attorney a letter basically stating they'd like to meet and kind of plan a path forward, but they didn't suggest a date or throw any plans out or anything like that. And then after Pam's talking about our attorney, if we do meet with them, it's just gotta be one of us, or if we have two of us there, it is a public meeting. You can have a public meeting where the public doesn't say anything, but so far that hasn't gone anywhere.
Well, we're kind of waiting on what you guys want to do so I can get back to the attorney and he can get back to them. So.
We've never had a closed door, they can come to us at any time they want and present
Right,
anything.
but they want to actually meet with you and talk about.
Yep.
I mean, they want an actual plan to, they can come up with their plan on how to meet, but how do you want to do it? Do we do a public meeting but without comment? That's, otherwise I think it'd just be a. I don't know, or does one of you guys want to represent the
I mean, I can
town
go
and
meet,
come back?
but we've done that, I've met with Tom, whenever you guys call and ask, we always figure out a way to meet.
I
and-
understand that,
Yep,
but how do we want to reply to them?
Wholesome should reach out and say, here's what we're requesting to meet, and then we would just operate that way. I mean,
Okay, so just one person, or do you want to do a public meeting, or?
we could have it public, we can,
You can have, we can
there's
have
no,
a public meeting.
Pardon?
We can have it public.
Can I?
Is that okay? Help.
I'm not sure I can. This is a little bit different meeting than we've had in the past. We wanna have discussions based on legal things and following a set path. I think for sure, your council needs to be there. So it's more of a formal meeting than just getting together when everybody's shooting the breeze, like we do sometimes when we have stuff to talk about. My preference, my recommendation would be one of you is a subcommittee or a committee on this, and we have a few meetings. You can check back with the larger group. No decisions will be made, but we start there and try and get some ground and get some traction and get some understanding, and then go to a larger public meeting further down the road. Again, obviously no decisions can be made that are binding without a larger meeting, but that would be my preference.
I kinda like having two of us there myself.
I do too.
Or could you also do like a board member and members from the planning commission or something so that it's not binding, I guess, with multiple of you? Or the other option I would think would be a meeting. I don't know if we have the capability to have you guys meet with them, but it's just virtual so that you don't have public present for the commentary that could, to Pam's point, could get out of hand potentially with commentary, but people could still listen to the entire conversation but not be in the room.
Our attorney kind of suggested to us to have a open meeting so we don't get tied up in the open meeting law. And if members of the public want to be there, they can be there, but you can stipulate right off the get-go,
This is a non-comment.
this is a working meeting. It has to be open to the public, but the public does not
I
comment.
think that's what we do.
Otherwise, we run the risk of getting tied up in that open meeting law stuff.
That was an interesting suggestion that you had a planning commission member and a board member. You're keeping both your groups in the loop. Does
The only
that-
trouble is at the end of the day, it's the board members that got to make a decision on it.
Yep. I think we should have at least two of our board members there,
Yeah.
hopefully three.
I'd suggest we just wait and see what they come back with. They haven't proposed when, what, or where.
That's the thing for me, I guess. If I'm a business, I would just send us a thing and say, here, I'd like to meet with, just lay out what you guys would like to do and meet, and then we would respond with give us a time, give us a date, get us what you'd like, and then we can respond to that
Well, this
instead
is
of.
it's the chicken or the egg, guys. Do you want a public meeting? Because by the way, if we do that, we have to announce things 30 days ahead, and everything 10 days ahead. Put notices out, all those things. So I need to know what you want.
Public meeting.
Oh,
We
right.
could call it a workshop as well. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a public meeting, but it does still need to be published. Posted, not published, posted on a bulletin board.
It's not a big deal to post it. That's not a
Nope.
big deal.
So we could call it a workshop and all you guys could be there,
Yeah.
I like that.
but we gotta have at least 10 days notice. Don't tell me 10 days prior. Tell me 15 days or 12.
If it was a workshop type meeting and understanding public comment wouldn't be entertained or whatever, would that still be open to the same?
Yeah.
That'd be, yeah.
I'm curious.
It's public,
Where would
Yes.
it be?
just wouldn't want comment.
I understand.
Tom, where would it be?
I would hope here.
Probably here.
Okay.
Most convenient for your residents.
Okay,
So can I comment on this?
Yeah.
So normally, I mean, you can check with your attorney, but Robert Rules of Order, which is the public meeting normal accepted way by which public entities interact with public and with businesses, have a set agenda that Pam publishes that has open comment at the beginning on any item that the public wants to bring up, and it's usually the way that it's framed is comments on non-agenda items. Then there's comments on agenda items that have not been discussed, and people can get up and say, I got a thing on the speed bumps, and I have blah, blah, blah. And then when you get to the agenda, which in this case, they would be an agenda item, they do a presentation, they engage in a discussion with you. The public can't engage. That's normally how it's done.
Would you say the public can or can't?
Cannot,
Right.
cannot, because it is a discussion, it's on a business item that is with the board. And that discussion can go back and forth and can go back and forth, back and forth. The public is present, but is normally not engaging. I can show you, I do this twice a month.
That's pretty much what we're talking about doing.
Yeah,
Board and commission, exactly. So if you restrict, you make it clear that this is an agenda item, you can take comments at the beginning. You can take comments on the next meeting about that item if need be. But you can engage in a discussion with, in this case, Holcim or anybody that is between you and that entity without any of us saying, I have something to say about it, or this is what I think, or start asking questions. That's normally how it's done. I know that's not how we do it, but that's normally the way that you run.
That's what we're talking about doing.
That's what you're talking about, so
Yeah.
if you.
except we wouldn't be open for commentary or.
Yeah,
It would
and-
just be working
Our attorney told us right at the beginning of the meeting, he said right at the beginning of the meeting, make it clear, it's an open meeting, the public can attend, but they have no discussion. So there wouldn't be an open forum, there wouldn't be any of that, it'd just be right at the, we got an email from him that says.
Correct.
And I understand what you're saying, but we don't really want other stuff on the agenda, we just want to do a workshop
If you,
strictly with.
right on. So normally a workshop, the way it would work is you would open up the meeting, you would normally do the pledge, you would say, are there any items from the public that want to be commented on anything? And then once you close that and you get to the agenda item, then the discussion is between the entity and yourselves. And none of us can participate because that's not the Robert's rules. So, I'm just suggesting that because there's a.
No, that's what he told us to do.
Exactly.
So just so everyone's, we got no information on what you want to meet about, what you want to present, any of that. Very open. So for us to sit here, like, that's why we're going, hey, this just needs to be all three, everybody hear it, because this could be anything. We have no idea. So with more information, more stuff, maybe it'd be a different scenario, but that's kind of how we have to, with what we got, that's kind of how we have to operate. And at any time, you don't need, this letter to me, when I read it, we've always been open, so you guys could present, ask for a meeting at any time, so I don't really understand even the need for the email, but get a hold of us and set something up. Anything else on that?
Maybe they wanna build us a new town hall, who knows? Might have nothing to do with it. Might have nothing to do with gravel mining.
So we just crossing Pioneer grading off? We're not talking about that? next
Yeah, I'd
item?
sooner not spend any money on roads till we get them prices back. And listen to the neighbors, maybe we don't wanna fix the gravel part anyway.
This is 105th.
Yeah, same with 100, I went down 105th, Keith wants a load of rocks.
Oh,
He's got a half a load down there right now, and the road is one of the better gravel roads in the township.
Yeah.
So not
Keith will live,
to live.
yeah.
Okay, no gravel for Pete.
What's that?
You don't wanna get him a load of gravel?
No, I don't want,
Always-
no. Not right now, no, I don't wanna spend any money on roads until we get them
And
bids
we're
back.
not
It's a
gonna
guy
do,
that
we're not gonna grade
maintains,
Pioneer?
He's got rock down there,
okay.
it ain't like he's
Well,
off.
if he's asking, though, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Pioneer needs grading.
Yeah, I don't wanna spend any money on roads till we get them prices
Period.
back.
Okay.
And our Ed Bordo wants to leave the dips there.
I'm not the only person there, but I can tell you my.
No, I think your neighbor wants to.
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but I had a neighbor call me that said,
Yeah, we get just as many complaints about the bumpiness
Yeah,
as we do the
I
other
did.
way.
so what?
Give Ed Bordo's phone number.
Yeah.
Go talk to Eduardo.
Oh, I completely get it. I mean, it's not my decision. All I'm saying is that when I have that discussion, I'm like, I'm not gonna call it in. It's gonna enhance the speed.
For the people at home, the reason we're not doing it is we don't have a ton of money in the bank, and we're looking at paving them 2 roads, and I don't want to spend any money on roads till we get them bids back to see where we're sitting.
Yeah, I agree.
I do not,
Because
it's 2 against 1.
Oh, you don't agree?
No, I would grade your road. People need your maintenance, you're gonna get, somebody hits a pothole, pops a tire, whatever you got, if we can't grade a road because we got a project coming, then why are you even thinking of getting a bid? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I think you have a road that we've had residents call, it's not in good shape.
Say it again.
Well, we have people calling because Pioneer,
It's got so many potholes.
correct, so they want it graded. And it's a couple $1,000 just like every other year that we've done, and $2,000 doesn't make or break the township.
Are they calling on the dirt side of it or the paved side?
Yeah, dirt side of it.
It is the dirt
And
side.
they-
Just getting Rump out to grade like we always
More
do.
like 2,500 with gravel?
Well, that's what we've done with adding gravel, but we could go cheap and not add gravel, but we always do that in case someday, just to get more crown and
Right.
help that road out.
Well,
But
you
it's
brought up one point there that I forgot about. We are liable if there's damage to a car too.
Oh, it's just
You
use a
said-
better excuse than
You
needing
got a big
Pioneer.
sign that says minimal maintenance road.
It's real minimal.
Big sign.
Is that on there?
Oh.
Yeah, read the statutes on that, that sign shouldn't be there.
I think someone stole it.
Did they? Okay. How much did we,
It's there.
Keisha, how much did we spend on Rumpka before,
These told
We
you-
spent $5,000 a year ago to do Pioneer grading.
That was hauling in a bunch of gravel though.
Yep.
How many times?
I think he charged like $700 when we just got it graded.
well, the only time they only graded it was when they did the end up here on this west end.
A couple years ago.
Well, last summer they fixed
Last
that, they
summer.
came and did that.
Yeah.
They were spinning out at the end, remember?
Yep.
We had
Dug
to
those
add
holes.
gravel.
Yeah, that was last. Yep.
Well, I don't know, I can go along with you if you wanna haul. If we're gonna have them come and grade it, I'd just soon haul the rock in at the same time, otherwise you're gonna pay to grade it twice. Cause you're gonna grade it now and you're gonna grade it when you haul rock in. You might as well, if you're gonna do that, haul the rock in at the same time.
I'd be for getting it graded, but that's up to.
How about the rock? You wanna bring rock in too then?
Yeah, you gotta bring rock in, you gotta bring rock in.
Why don't you make the motion? I'll entertain it.
Okay, I make a motion, we call Rumpka, have them come and grade the road and haul in, what do we usually get? 8 or 10 loads of rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 or 10.
Should we just do like
I
3,500?
don't even know if that was on the bill, how many volts.
Yeah, it was on there. The one at the end wasn't, that last time, late last summer, cause they just fixed the west end. But the other times,
Okay, not while I've been.
well, have them bring in 8 loads of gravel too. You want me to call them?
8 loads? No, I can call.
Okay, well, here's why.
Do you want Pam to just get a quote? Maybe start there, or do you just want it done?
No, just-
Okay, then just get it done.
I'm gonna call them too though, because they kind of irk me.
Okay, you call them.
You know, no, you can call them, you can send them emails to that woman. I just wanted to, here's what they do, they come and grade it, but they don't put a crown in it.
Sure.
And the loose gravel on the side, they don't pull that in first. So you end up with a flat road, the water sits there, you get soft spots, and that's what creates the holes. The first year they come and graded it up and put a crown on it, the water runs off it, and you don't get the holes.
So I got a motion for 8 loads and a grade.
Yeah.
Paul?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dick, you're gonna contact him.
I'll talk to Pam. Me and Pam will work it out.
Any other, it's getting late. We can get into the, I don't know. I talked to DNR about the culvert up here with the trees, moving up the channelways or whatever, but DNR, absolutely nothing to do with the channel. They could care less if it closes up. None of that. They have no money in it for any of that stuff. Their fish can still swim under the trees. That's basically where that goes. They recommend talking to the Corps. You go up, called and talked to a guy from the Corps the other day, and they don't care because it's not the main channel. And then, I mean, Pam got me Matt Moore's number again, but we all know where that goes is nowhere. So we are gonna, I reached out to Rick Hansen, our rep, and there's some grant money through a help program right now. So he's checking into it to see if that could go to help fund like a wing dam or something on the main channel. So we'll see if he gets
Right
any
before
leads. He was gonna talk to the head Corps guy too about it, but maybe Rick Hansen will hopefully be a help to push on it, but we'll see. But something's gotta be done.
Something's gotta divert
That-
those trees back and
Yeah,
keep them
it
out.
can't, yeah, no.
Can't take it.
And every person that we talked to at every entity that wanted this thing opened up, they all just kinda told us it wouldn't happen, and here it is. And that, I mean, in front of Jeff's house, right at the top, when you look down the bridge, those are all sitting on silt. Those trees aren't going anywhere. So it's
not even soft silt.
Yeah, rock.
Tough rock.
yeah, it's 3/4 of the way closed up already.
60-foot
So
hole that
yeah,
scoured out.
not really.
I'll add to that a little bit, because I've gotten emails from people, well, you know, they see an ad in the thing, the Corps dredging here, the Corps doing this, maybe we could get that same contractor to come in here. Well, number one, we ain't got any money. Number two, just so they know where the Corps is coming from, because I work there, the Corps is part of the military. The Corps does what they're commanded to do by their upper management, and their directive is to maintain a 9-foot navigation channel. Now, they'll put, like you see in the islands, they put in Pig's Eye Lake, they do environmental stuff, but that comes from higher up, that you will go do this. They could care less about these backwater channels. In fact, I think when this got opened up, they said, go ahead and do it. Well, yeah, they got rid of a whole bunch of sediment. It all came down our channel. The DNR, talking to them people, they think it's great. They said the dissolved oxygen went up, the fish are moving in there, this is the greatest thing that ever happened, according to them. They could care less about helping us. The watershed, the last we talked to them, they're still hesitant to admit there's a problem. You know, we bring it up, there's a problem, and it's like, well, it looks like it's carving a channel, is what they told us. So far the watershed is, basically their project turned out okay. It did what they wanted, but they didn't take into account the sediment load that was gonna come into that channel. We tried to explain it to them, and they would not listen. So there's really, nobody cares about it. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Their graphs called for like 13% of the river water to come in our channel. Kind of like Cottage Grove is saying 13% of the traffic's going to come our way, but it all does.
Well, we gotta talk about that meeting too.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
Have you ever taken a structural approach? I mean, is that bridge scouring, like footing wise or something?
No,
This year?
the riprap in the bottom of that is stayed right there. On the downstream
Front side,
side, there's a
yeah.
40-foot hole.
Yeah, you can scan it all.
But-
That's moved.
I go through there by boat and it's stayed the same. No, it's,
What about that electrical pole? Or where-
well, that's Excel's problem. I don't know how far down that goes. There's a pole there that's all washed out on the upstream
Well,
side.
there's,
The
debris
big,
up against it now.
oh, yeah.
But the rock that's created the island and it's created the ridge that the trees are
Oh,
coming
sure.
from,
Yeah.
that's not coming from
No.
the main channel, that's that original scour
Yeah,
from what was 4 feet deep before the bridge.
Right.
And what's now 40 feet.
Yep.
So one time, if that stuff moves, it's not coming back,
yeah.
you know, but.
And another thing for
I
people,
know.
it's really got people's attention. They see them logs, but in reality, the logs ain't the problem. It's the amount of sediment in that back channel. There's places where it's 6 feet deep that now the sediment's sticking out of the water.
None of the trees that come in, they don't make it out the bottom. They all just
No.
get hung up. So you go both the channel, they're everywhere now. It's sad.
While I'm thinking about it, we had another meeting too, on Great Cloud Trail. We met with, who was up there? We went to Cottage Grove.
We did that
was up
last
there.
meeting. We went over that.
Did we go over that?
Yeah,
Okay.
last month.
Yeah, we went over
Did
that
you
last
see the
month.
revised thing? The first thing they gave us was gonna be what, about 15,000 trucks?
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, I think it's closer to 30. The one they send us out now is about 31,000 trucks.
Yeah.
So
We'll keep plugging away.
What's the next steps on that? Because I don't think I heard the update. I guess.
the next steps, we're waiting, the county was gonna do
Road test.
road testing, weight testing on Great Cloud Trail and Island Drive, and I don't think that's been done yet.
No.
Okay,
We're waiting
I
on that.
sent emails both to Jennifer,
Yep.
actually, we did get, no, it was Amanda.
She
And
did.
Cottage Grove,
Yeah.
we got the,
that was the
equipment
truck
thing
count,
redone,
yeah.
but I haven't heard anything from Wayne Sandberg at the
No.
county for testing, and I think you did
Yeah,
also.
he said
email
I
he was
emailed
gonna-
them. I didn't think that'd come back quick, because they gotta get somebody to do it, hire them to do it, have them come down, do it, get the results back. The other thing I had, we got a letter from Rick Hansen, and he's got here. As co-chair of the Legislative Audit Commission, I led efforts for an audit of aggregate mining sites like those in Great Cloud Island, which is expected to be released in late 2024. So, he sent that out to us.
What's late 2024? Christmas?
After
He
now.
didn't put what late was, just late 24.
What?
For what?
Audit of what?
Here's what it says. I led efforts for an audit of aggregate mining sites like those in Great Cloud Island. That's all he's got, which is expected to be released in late 2024.
There's only one in Great Cloud Island, the other one's in Cottage Grove.
Yeah. But, so anyway, they must be doing
Some
it right.
reserve counts or something.
I'm just assuming they're doing an audit of what reserves are out there, where are they, how close, how far away, how much is left, where they're coming from. That ain't in here, but that's just a guess.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Unless anybody else got anything. Yeah, make motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.